Look at the sprawl of it, the sheer density of life packed into these modern concrete canyons. They speak of progress of boundless human ingenuity. Yet if you strip away the glass and steel, the endless flow of traffic, what remains? What truly allows a civilization to coalesce, to grow from scattered encampments into sprawling, complex cities like those we reconstruct here? It is tempting to assign credit to grand narratives, to brilliant generals, or powerful monarchs whose will shape their domains. But history suggests a more intimate, less visible truth. The monumental structures, the sophisticated plumbing, the very organization of these early populations, they were not built by armies alone, and they were certainly not conceived in a single royal decree. They required something far more specialized, far more granular, the dedicated skill of countless hands. We are here to map those forgotten trades, the essential crafts that formed the bedrock of every great ancient settlement. Consider the potter shaping clay, the weaver dyeing thread, the carpenter squaring timber. These were not mere hobbies, they were vital economic engines. They represent the foundational expertise that transformed simple survival into enduring civilization. To build a city, one must first conquer the earth itself. The most fundamental trade was quarrying, the art and brutal science of extracting raw stone from the bedrock. These were not simply laborers. They were skilled geologists and engineers who understood the fault lines, the seams, and the inherent weaknesses of the rock face. They knew where the material held the promise of permanence. Once extracted, the rough blocks had to be shaped by masons and stonemasons. Their skill was in transforming geological potential into structural reality. Techniques involved everything from precise dressing, the careful trimming of stone faces, to the strategic use of levers and wedges to split massive formations along natural fracture lines. This process required immense physical strength coupled with an almost mathematical understanding of material stress. The result was not just a pile of rock, but carefully dimensioned components ready for assembly, ensuring that every wall, foundation, and corner possessed enduring structural integrity. These foundational skills underpinned every monumental structure, from temple to forum. The quality of the stone dictated the city's longevity, making quarrymen and masons indispensable pillars of early civilization. The mastery of stone provided the skeleton for early cities, but it was the alchemy of earth that provided their breath. From the raw mud of riverbeds came a material far more versatile, clay. The transformation of this humble substance into durable vessels marked a profound leap in human capability. Pottery wasn't merely an art form, it was infrastructure on a domestic scale. Skilled potters developed techniques to refine local clays, molding them into everything from simple cooking pots to sophisticated storage jars. The introduction of the potter's wheel revolutionized production, allowing for standardized forms at unprecedented speed. Furthermore, mastering controlled firing the kiln process allowed communities to create objects robust enough for daily use and trade far beyond their immediate locale. Glazes added not only beauty, but also waterproofing and durability. These ceramic vessels became essential conduits for storing surplus grain, transporting precious oils, and facilitating the complex exchange networks that defined early urban life. They were silent testaments to organized labor and sophisticated material science. The resulting uniformity allowed for specialized economies. Standardized amphorae could carry predictable volumes of wine or olive oil across vast distances. This reliable containerization underpinned the very logistics of civilization's growth. But even the most robust exchange networks required a permanent stage, a physical shell to house the burgeoning population. As cities grew taller and more complex, the need for durable vertical construction became paramount. This is where the specialized craft of carpentry entered the narrative. These were not simply builders, they were highly skilled artisans who understood wood in a way that bordered on engineering. They mastered techniques like felling massive timbers and shaping them into components capable of bearing immense loads. Most impressive was their ability to join these pieces using complex, interlocking joints, the famous mortise and tenon joint being a prime example. These methods allowed structures to achieve remarkable strength and flexibility, making them surprisingly resistant even to the lateral forces of an earthquake. Before iron became readily available for structural support, it was this intimate knowledge of wood grain, tension, and compression that defined the enduring architecture of the early city. The sheer scale of this craftsmanship is evident in surviving structures today. These timber frames, often visible even after centuries of rebuilding, speak to a sophisticated understanding of material science, a silent testament to human ingenuity. But as cities grew denser and populations swelled, the stresses on basic materials became critical. The need for reliable utilities for clean water and waste removal demanded entirely new expertise. This is where metallurgy entered the civic equation. Blacksmiths were not merely artisans, they were engineers who could transform raw ore into functional components. They forged everything from agricultural implements to sophisticated plumbing fixtures. We see evidence of bronze casting, creating intricate pipes and fittings that allowed water to flow reliably through complex networks beneath the streets. Later, with the advent of iron, the capacity for large-scale civil engineering expanded dramatically. These specialized metalworkers were responsible for laying out conduits, building aqueducts, and establishing early sanitation systems. Their work transformed urban life from a struggle against contamination into something approaching modern convenience, a true revolution in public health. The precision required for these systems was astonishing. Imagine the specialized knowledge needed to calculate gradients and maintain pressure across miles of piping. These trades elevated skilled labor from mere craft to a foundational pillar of urban civilization, ensuring that life could thrive within increasingly complex stone walls. But the infrastructure wasn't limited to plumbing or grand public works. Much of the wealth and social signaling in these early cities was woven into fabric itself. The textile industry represents one of history's most invisible, yet profoundly powerful economic engines. From the field to the finished bolt of cloth, every stage required specialized knowledge. The careful spinning of flax into thread, the complex weaving of yarn into durable material, and finally, the mastery of natural dyes. These processes were not merely domestic crafts, they were industrial operations that fueled massive trade networks. The ability to transform raw wool or linen into vibrant, enduring colors signaled status, wealth, and even tribal affiliation. A dye master's knowledge of mordants, local flora, and chemical reactions was akin to a modern chemist's skill. This deep understanding of natural chemistry made textiles high-value commodities, linking rural agricultural output directly to the sophisticated consumption patterns of urban elites. Indigo from distant lands and madder root from local bushes fueled this trade. These vibrant hues were status symbols, visible markers of power that dictated social hierarchy across continents. But even with valuable goods flowing into a city, the sheer act of movement presented monumental challenges. A bustling market was not merely an accumulation of stalls. It was a complex logistical system requiring precise organization and standardized measurement. The expansion of civilization demanded more than just skilled artisans and raw materials. It required people who could map the unseen geometry of growth. Surveyors staked out new boundaries, ensuring that property lines were legally recognized and physically demarcated. Waymasters maintained the integrity of commerce, guaranteeing that a measure of grain or spice was consistent from one dock to the next. And cartwrights built the very infrastructure for movement: wagons, axles, and durable wheel components. These trades formed the invisible circulatory system of early urban life. They were the keepers of standardized length, weight, and direction, turning scattered resources into predictable economic power that fueled the rise of monumental cities. Their expertise was critical for everything from laying straight roads to calculating tax levies on goods. Without these precise measurements of land, weight, and distance, the grand architectural visions of city-states would have remained nothing more than ambitious sketches. This specialized knowledge did not remain solely with the individual master artisan. To ensure quality control and preserve their economic monopoly, trades coalesced into organized structures, the craft guilds. These associations were far more than mere unions. They functioned as sophisticated social regulators, dictating everything from training standards to market prices. The path to becoming a master was rigorously controlled, beginning with an apprenticeship that could last many years. This system wasn't just about teaching skills, it was about embedding specialized knowledge, the secret sauce, if you will, within a closed generational network. Apprentices learned through observation and painstaking repetition, passing down techniques for everything from smelting alloys to carving intricate stonework. The guilds held immense power. They could approve or deny the practice of an entire trade, effectively controlling who got to earn a living from their craft. This institutionalization transformed individual skill into predictable, regulated economic force. These guilds often maintained elaborate records, documenting everything from membership fees to quality inspections. Their archives reveal a structured society where economic survival was inextricably linked to adherence to established rules and communal approval. The echoes of those ancient workshops resonate powerfully through the modern cityscape. Walk through any major urban center today, and you encounter living proof of these foundational skills. The precise geometry of a historic archway speaks to millennia of masonry knowledge. The complex routing within an old building's plumbing system reflects specialized techniques developed by guilds long forgotten. These are not mere coincidences. They are direct descendants of labor meticulously refined over centuries. To understand the scale and complexity of civilization, one must look beyond grand monuments and examine the hands that built them, the skilled tradesmen who mastered stone, wood, metal, and water. Their knowledge was never just a job. It was an intricate system of survival, passing down intellectual capital alongside physical skill. Recognizing this deep lineage is to recognize that every single specialized hand, from the master carpenter to the journeyman plumber, represents a vital, complex thread in the tapestry of human ingenuity. From the lathe turning fine furniture to the modern electrical grid's intricate wiring, these specialized skills persist. They remind us that civilization is built not just by visionaries, but by the enduring mastery of skilled hands.